Hey guys, it's Luke with Motor Minds, and you are joining me with Mo here, my buddy from Virginia Tech. He's an engineer down there, and he picked up a 2005 BMW 330 Ci ZHP over the summer. It's your very first car. Yeah, it's a pretty cool machine, and he was gracious enough to let me take it for a spin and do a little review on it. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So, got to start off with the styling as per usual. I mean, I think you and I have had this conversation a lot. This is like one of the most quintessential BMWs in the way it looks, I think. Yeah. Wouldn't you agree? I mean,
definitely.
The thing is, I feel like the 3 Series has been a lot more revolution rather than it's been more evolution rather than revolution. You know what I mean by that? Yeah. Just as like the styling, it didn't change too much from the E36, but I think it just looks a lot more modern and a lot sleeker. Like for me, the E36 was a little bit too boxy, and especially since this is the facelifted car. When did they do the facelift? 04 or 05?
For the coupes, it was 04, I think.
Okay, yeah. Because the headlights are slightly different from the earlier cars. They don't match up with the M3 headlights, but they do have those awesome, they're the ones that swivel around when the wheel turns. They look really good.
Yeah, it has tilting HIDs.
Yeah, no, it's pretty sweet. And I also love he put in the grille that has the flag in it. I think that looks freaking awesome. Yeah. And I also love the yellow fog lights. That's another mod that he did.
That was a tasteful mod the previous owner did, which I really like.
Oh, yeah. No, that's a really good look on the front end. I just think the front end of this car just looks low, mean, and aggressive. You know, they always have just looked so good. And no matter who you are, when you see the front end of these cars, you know what it is. It's so distinguishable. You immediately know it's a BMW. And when you go into the side, the ZHP has these ridiculous 18-inch rims. They're staggered width. They're what, 8 inches in the front and 9s in the rear, or 7s up front and 8s in the rear?
No, they're 8 inches in the front, 8.5 in the rear.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, they are very, very good looking, but as we both know, they're a pain in the ass to clean.
They are. I just cleaned them, and the twin spokes, getting in the middle of the twin spokes is a pain.
Yeah, it's a royal pain in the ass to clean the rims, but it does look really good. And honestly, this is one of those two-door cars that I think really works well as a two-door, because a lot of the times you get a two-door car and the doors are way too long, and then the rear quarter panel looks like there's absolutely nothing going on. But this car, the proportions are just so good, and you get along to the rear, and the taillights for 05, they look so damn modern, you know?
Yeah, it was one of the first BMWs to have LED taillights.
Yeah.
Like the facelifted ones have LEDs, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a great looking car, and especially the rear exhaust, the twin exhaust, it looks great, and it sounds really good too, which brings us into the powertrain of this car. So the regular 330 Ci had a 3-liter M54 inline 6 that produced 225 horsepower, but the ZHP has a little bit more than that. It has an upgraded camshaft, right? Also has a lightened flywheel and a different engine tune, so it produces 235 horsepower and 222 pound-feet, right?
Right.
Yeah, which is pretty damn good. And here's the thing with this car. It's a Vanos car, variable valve timing and all that stuff, so you don't really feel too much until you're above $3,000, but the whole engine's just so buttery smooth, you know?
And it's very responsive.
It's an extremely responsive engine, and I just love how even though there may not be a ridiculous amount of power in the low RPM range, it's just always is willing to pull, and it's always just buttery smooth. Yeah. So you can rev the nuts off it without feeling like you're going to kill the engine, you know?
It actually really likes to rev.
Yeah, I know.
After doing a fresh oil change, the cars come
completely to life. Yeah, no, it feels like it's running on, man, diced cotton? Or what else could it be running on? Maple syrup? I mean, it's super freaking smooth.
Maple syrup and butter.
Yes. Yeah, Aunt Jemima is fueling this engine right now, and it's awesome. Now, this thing also has a 6-speed manual transmission, and I'm gonna be honest, if you get this car in an automatic, I don't want to talk to you. I'm just gonna be brutally honest. You don't buy a car like this with an automatic because the stick shift is so damn good. A lot of people give some BMWs a lot of crap for their shifters, saying, oh, the clutch is a little bit too vague and the shifter's too rubbery. Not in this car, it's not.
Yeah, and once you get used to it, it's pretty good.
Yeah, no, I think the shifter in this car is awesome. It's really short throws, the engagement's really positive. It's not I wouldn't say it's the most mechanical feel in the world, but it's so easy to just rev match and get the gear you want whenever you want it. And that's something
that has to do with the lighter flywheel too.
Oh yeah, the lighter flywheel.
So quick.
Yeah, it makes rev matching an absolute joy. Like, yeah, just like that. Like, ooh, a little bit of traction control there. Let you know you're having some fun. Now, speaking of traction control, of course that's disableable. This car doesn't have a limited slip diff, but it'll still do mad burnouts and mad drifts if you feel so inclined.
Single wheel burnouts?
Yeah, no, this thing's pretty sweet when it comes to just driving dynamics. Let's start talking about the handling. This is, in essence, a 3 Series at the end of the day, so it's still, considering the fact that there's sedan versions and wagon versions of this car, it just handles insanely well. I mean, I'm always blown away that this car just feels like it shrinks around you. And especially when you're pushing it down a road, the connectivity is great. This car has hydraulic steering, none of that electric bullshit. And it also, it's just a more raw feel. Even though it has all the features and comfort, you still feel really connected to the road.
Yeah, it has like kind of this dual personality where
exactly.
It's like a cruiser when you want it to be, but it also comes alive when you push it. And
yeah.
It really is rewarding.
Now, what was the stock suspension setup on this car?
The stock suspension on these it had different suspension from like a normal 330.
Yeah.
It came with different stiffer dampers and springs and
different control arms, right?
Different control arms and stiffer ball joints in the front as well.
Totally understandable. But this car, previous owner decided to go a little bit further, as you do. So this car has Bilstein shocks with H&R springs, and it's flat. Traction control let me down. Okay. Now, another bonus with these cars, it being an 05 model, is you don't have to be able to like kiss Jesus and then recite the ABCs backwards 50 times over to turn off the traction control. It's actually super easy. You push a button and then all the fun is available. Yes! Now, of course, I'm stuck behind the new F30 BMW 3 Series, and he's not having nearly as much fun because his car is just a...
It's a white.
Yeah, it's just a white normal 3 Series, and they're just boring now. So now that we've talked about the handling and driving characteristics, we've got to hop into the interior of this thing. Now, oh man, I just think this car's interior is absolutely gorgeous. So the ZHP has this stamped aluminum trim, and I remember when Mo first got this thing and I looked in the interior, I was like, what on earth is that? It looks so cool. Honestly, I think it's even cooler than the trim that came on the M3s.
Yeah, it was actually, it's like they only did it on the ZHPs.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of like little things that make the ZHP that's different from a normal car. For example, the headliner is different from a normal 330. It has the gauges which have a aluminum trim around them.
Yes. Oh, they look so good. And I just love how everything's direct in front of you, easy to read, because it's a driver's car and you just want to be able to see everything.
Yes.
Now, this is what, stone gray, the interior?
Yeah, it's just the normal gray leather.
Yeah, and this car has 106,000 miles on it, and it looks damn nearly like it just came out of the showroom. Besides a little bit of wear on some leather bolstering on the driver's seat, it's gorgeous. Like, everything looks great in here, and it really stands the test of time. I mean, this thing has navigation, it has heated seats, 3-way seat memory, Harman Kardon audio. I mean, the screen's starting to lose a few pixels as pretty much every single...
It's looking quite dated.
I mean, what BMW screen hasn't, you know?
Yeah, and it's also like whatever screen comes out now in like 3 years.
Exactly. I mean, technology's moving so
it's
fast.
going to be a lot.
Yeah.
It's going to be outdated.
Yeah. So while this car may not be an M3, that doesn't mean it's slow by any means. 0 to 60 in this model is 5.6 seconds with the manual. Does the quarter mile in what, 14.1 you said?
14.3.
14.3?
Yeah. Mid-14s.
Which is pretty freaking quick. And considering, I mean, it's a 3-liter inline 6, and the thing is, I mean, you could look at V6s and some supercharged 6-cylinders from today that have a lot more power. If you look at just the numbers, 235 horsepower isn't anything ridiculous. But then again, you look at the E46 M3, and compared to modern day standards, that thing didn't have that much power either. It was what, 330 horsepower?
333.
Yeah.
M3s,
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing that people always don't understand. You have this rat race to have the most horsepower and the quickest 0 to 60s, and you end up with a car that's more machine than actual soul. You know, it's like, I'll scare the ever-loving shit out of you, but are you really going to enjoy it? Because this car, you can, like you were telling me, you enjoy using all the power.
Yeah, you can just ring it out on the road without having to worry that you're going to be, I mean, you can can obviously go faster than the limits, but it's not hard to just get on it normally and have some fun.
Yeah, and just there, it sings to that 6,800 RPM redline. That's another thing that the ZHP gets you, is an extra 300 RPMs to play around with. And that's the thing. A lot of the times you drive a car and you're up in those higher RPMs and you're like, oh my God, I'm killing it. Not in this car at all. This thing feels great in higher RPMs. It's so much fun. And the visibility in this thing is amazing. You can see everything out of the car, which makes it so much easier to place on the road.
Yeah, for sure. Because you get basically all of the same features and like the practicality of a sedan, because it's the same wheelbase. It's just 2 doors.
And that's the thing. Like, we'll be like, oh, we're gonna go get dinner, and we'll be like, oh, let's take Mo's car. People start bitching. It's like, oh, it's a 2-door. It's like, hey, wait until you get in the back, because once you're in the back, yeah, it's fine. And that's the thing that's so cool, is I'm driving it right now, and I have no idea that the car I'm driving is, what, 14 feet long or something like that? Like, it's decently sized, because they had to accommodate the sedan and wagon versions of the thing too.
Which is still very small compared to like a modern
Oh yeah, you park
still very small.
Yo, man, you park this next to an E30 and it looks huge, but you park this next to an F30 and it looks tiny.
You can see the difference in size.
Yeah, cars are always getting taller and heavier and longer. I mean, a lot of it's to accommodate all the new safety crap. Yeah. But hey.
I mean, people did say that with the E46 as well. They said that it was fatter and heavier and bigger. But I think
all lies.
This was the golden ages of BMW.
Woo-hoo! Yeah, this thing's just a lot of fun to drive, because you can use the entire car and just be smiling the whole way. And then the other thing that's great about these cars is you hop on the highway and you pop it in 6th, and it's super comfortable, and then you can engage BMW driver mode. You put on your Bluetooth headset, slide your reflective sunglasses onto your face, one hand on the wheel, and then, oh no, oh God. So a few things a classic BMW driver always needs to hold on to is a lot of blinker fluid. I mean, you got, what, a few gallons of that in the trunk?
Yeah, but the thing is, I'm always out of it. The car never holds it.
It's crazy.
So I never have any blinker fluid.
Yeah, I mean, whenever you drive fast, the car just gets so excited, it just pisses it all out. I mean, it's kind of crazy how it likes to do that.
Yeah.
Another thing that it likes to do is eat oil sometimes when you're on red line. But the thing is, that's only when you're absolutely hammering it. And I mean, a car with an appetite for some oil, hey, it means that it's healthy. It means, I mean, if it wasn't drinking any oil, the engine's dead then, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta eat to live, am I right? Yeah. Oh man. So yeah, he's got a few cases of blinker fluid, case of oil, Haynes manual. How many Bluetooth headsets do you have? Approximately what? About
6, 7 of them. You don't want to keep changing them all the time.
Of course. I mean, those are rookie numbers, bro. You got to pump those numbers up. But yeah, I mean, he is the epitome of a BMW driver, but in the cool way. Here's the thing. You see the BMW driver that's driving around in a 330 that he got for $2,000. It's all beaten up, has about 50 M badges on it. That is the epitome of a wannabe BMW driver. But this thing has the pedigree to back it up, because it has 8 M badges and they're all real. And it's a ZHP, so it was purpose-built by BMW from the factory to handle really freaking well. And I think it just does that so well. It just ticks so many boxes. And
that's why I got it. It was really like, I wanted a car where I could just 8 miles going to school and back.
Yep.
It's like a long drive.
Back and forth from tech, and then still have fun on the back roads. Because, man, we hit this thing on back roads all the time. It's an absolute blast. Get the Porsche, this thing. Once our friend Daniel, you guys have, for those of you that have seen the road trip video to go get Daniel's car, a review will be coming shortly, as I promised.
As the car gets around.
Yeah, it all depends on if Daniel's decision-making skills pull through for us or not. So basically, he's bought some things that didn't really work out, so we're a little bit on hold right now.
The review has been postponed.
Yeah, that car has become, it's basically become a meme at this point, if I'm honest.
It is a living meme, yes.
Man, those rear tires, he has Pilot Sport AS3 Pluses on it, and even at full throttle, you really have to try to get the back to step out. So now that we've driven the car for a bit, it's time to talk about the personality. And let's be real here. You and I are both insane car guys, and we weren't about to settle for boring cars. You know, just the fact that you own this car has to say something about its personality. Now, you're a lot more, you can definitely speak a lot more about the personality than I can since you've owned it. So, like, how does the car make you feel, you know?
It's an amazing car in terms of as the brakes squeak.
As the brakes squeak, yeah.
It's got a lot of personality, the brake squeak.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like it a lot because it has, like I said, this dual personality where it can be a very quiet comfort car to drive every day.
Yeah.
But when you want it to be, it's like a decently fast, very good handling, little car to throw around corners and have fun in.
And it's one of those things where every time you park it, you look back at it, you know?
Oh yeah, totally. Like sometimes probably people look at me and like, look at this guy sweet, because I park it and I walk away like backwards looking at it.
Yeah, I mean,
but I just can't help it. You know?
We all fall victim to that. If you're a true car guy, you will. Yeah. And I mean, that's just how it is. And I guess at the end of the day, yeah, it may be an older car, maybe a little unreliable and whatnot, but when it handles this well and looks as good and evokes that emotion, that's what matters when you're a car guy, you know?
It's not even reliability so far.
Yeah, the car's been perfectly reliable ever since he got it. Yeah.
I've just done an oil change and that's it.
Yeah, oil came out perfectly clean. The whole thing's been doing great. But then again, what'd you say the previous owner spent $10K?
The previous owner did baby the scar and did everything the dealer.
Yeah, I think
which if you're watching, thank you for that. For taking care of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so everything was done perfectly and the car, a lot of preventive maintenance was done. Everything was up to date when I got it. And I plan to keep it like that. I don't trust people with the car really, so I'll do everything myself, but I'll keep up.
Oh man, guys, next Porsche update I make, I'm gonna have some stories for you. Mo knows. Mo knows. And all I'm gonna say is just don't take if you know how to work with your hands, don't take your car to a shop. It's just really it's truly it's not worth it. I'd rather have my car be broken for a month and work on it myself and fix it than have someone that I don't necessarily trust doing the work.
For sure.
But yeah, thanks again for tuning into Motor Minds, guys. It's always a pleasure bringing you guys some new content. I have some leads on some pretty cool videos. He's gonna come down with me, help me film a Acura NSX. Now that's gonna be crazy. My mind might blow a little bit, but definitely tune in. We got some new content coming. It's been a busy time. We had finals and whatnot and getting transitioned into winter break. Yeah, so we haven't had too much time to go crazy with videos, but we're back at it. We'll have some content for you guys, and we'll catch you next time.